Hi guys, welcome back to Nico Talks Hockey, and welcome back to another edition of Fantasy Player Stock Watch. This time it's Volume 3. Again, this is a series that is uploaded every other Monday, so it's a bi-weekly series. So every other week we're gonna get another one of these. And today is the third installment of this series. This series is where we talk fantasy and we talk about we go through who's hot right now, which players are absolutely on fire right now, and absolutely helping their respective fantasy teams and their managers out. Which players are kind of burning their fantasy managers and their fantasy owners by kind of being pretty cold or on a completely cold streak. And then which players are largely on waiver wires right now, free agency, and are just able to be picked up ASAP, and which players I think you should pick up as soon as possible in order to reap the benefits of what maybe some hot streaks that they're on, or maybe they're just finally picking hitting their stride a bit. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So again, I go through some players who I think are really hot, and right now I've got 5 players right now who I think are unbelievable, and the common theme among all these players is that they are really young. The theme of this video is that the players who are the best in the league right now and the players who are the best in fantasy hockey right now is they're all young players. Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, Leo Carlson. Kind of spoiling a little bit of the video right here, but you saw the thumbnail. You could see that these players, and you probably know by now if you're into hockey, that you know how much these players are lighting it up. So let's start with Chicago Blackhawks' very own Connor Bedard. He, through 15 games played, has 8 goals and 14 assists. He is unbelievable. He's leading the league right now in points. And as a Blackhawks fan myself, it's just unbelievable to even hear myself say those words. It's just used to pray for times like this. It's really, really cool. But from the fantasy aspect, if you have Connor Bedard on your team, I do not, unfortunately. I'm very sad. I wanted him bad, but I'm in a league with my brother, and he got to him first. But if you have Connor Bedard in your fantasy on your fantasy team, I'm sure you are winning your weeks because he's lighting it up. He is the best player right now in the entire league in terms of points. I'm not saying he's better than McDavid. I'm not saying any of that, but in just points, he's doing the best, and he's on an unbelievable streak through the past 8 or 9 games. He's got 17 points or something crazy like that. All of his assists have been primary assists. So yeah, he's unbelievable, and it is so magical to see as a Blackhawks fan. Now, if you're a San Jose Sharks fan, you absolutely are probably also on cloud 9 because Macklin Celebrini is also unbelievable. Through 16 games played, has 10 goals and 14 assists for 24 points. It seems that it just depends on the day. One day Bedard will be in the front lead, for the most points in the NHL, and then Celebrini will overtake him and he'll be going. So I've seen this trend that it's it's obviously Bedard versus Celebrini, but I'm hopping in the other trend, which I've also been seeing happily, is that it's not Bedard versus Celebrini, it's Bedard and Celebrini. We can be fans of both because it is so cool to see. It's pretty much like the new Crosby and Ovechkin, and I honestly believe that these are 2 special players who, in their second and third years respectively, they are just torching the league. And if they keep this up, imagine if they are towards the end of the season going band for band for who will go and win the Hart Trophy. This is crazy. I know we're only 5 weeks into the season, but it is, a person can dream, a man can dream, and it's a pretty good dream. Another player who's absolutely torching the league, and this is someone, not only do I have my fantasy team, but I'm very happy to have said that this is a player. It's Leo Carlson. Leo Carlson of the Anaheim Ducks. He was a player that right before the season started, I said that Leo Carlson was my number 1 pick for kind of your under the radar, kind of what's the word? Kind of underrated player, someone that you should pick up. Maybe he won't be taken as high as he probably should have been taken, and he was kind of my sleeper pick, right? That's the word that was escaping me. But the sleeper pick, I think Leo Carlson was the best I said it in the video. You can go check my video in the sleeper picks, top 15 sleeper picks, I think was the video. And I said that Leo Carlsson is the best bet to take, and I'm feeling very good about that because he's unbelievable. Every single game he's getting a point, and it's usually a goal. He's filthy with it too. It's not just like he's being set up perfectly. He's creating offense. It's truly unbelievable to see these Ducks. I truly believe these Ducks will finish third in the Pacific, not only because the Pacific is a bit of an easier division for sure, but these Ducks are genuinely good. It doesn't matter if they let in like 4 or 5 a night; they're gonna win. They're really special. I think that the Quenneville is coaching them very well, and all these young players are kind of hitting their stride, and they're complimenting, and the veterans on their team are complimenting these rising stars very well. So it's really cool to see. So yeah, Bedard, Celebrini, Carlson. There's 2 other players I want to talk about on who's hot right now. One of them is another fellow Anaheim Ducks teammate. It's Cutter Gauthier. Gauthier was actually my pick last season to win the Calder. I thought he was going to win the Calder. I thought he was going to run away with the Rookie of the Year, but that didn't happen. It just didn't happen, and I think it's just because he needed time to adjust. Also, the Greg Cronin, the coach in Anaheim, there, he sucked like a lot. So that kind of really kind of stopped him from being able to maybe be in the conversation for the Calder last season. But he's showing now through 14 games played, he's got 11 goals and 7 assists for 18 points. Yeah, he's a goal scoring machine. He's really impressive, and he's so young, right? So yeah, the Anaheim Ducks have a really nice young core, and it's only going to get better, right? And the last player I want to highlight here before going to kind of the cold players and the players who are just they need something. They need something to kind of give them a spark. But this player is really hot. It's Wyatt Johnston of the Dallas Stars, another player who is on my fantasy team. So I'm very happy about that. I do have 2 of these 5 players. I've got Leo Carlsson and Wyatt Johnston. So Wyatt Johnston, through 15 games played, has 9 goals and 10 assists for 19 points through 15 games played. Yeah, I think that some people thought that maybe he had a down year last year. I wouldn't even classify it as that, but maybe he just didn't hit the peaks that everyone kind of thought he was going to hit last year. But I think he's finally hitting it this year. So for any straggling doubters of Wyatt Johnston, you have no more excuse because he's unbelievable, and he right now I think may be the second best forward on that team behind, of course, Rantanen. But maybe he's better than Jason Robertson. In all honesty, I think that if he's not, then he will be in short order. Moving on to the very cold players. These are players who need something to go their way because nothing's going their way right now. Starting off with Sam Bennett through 15 games played. Florida Panther Sam Bennett. It doesn't help that he's being forced into a role because of Alexander Barkov being out. He's being forced into a kind of a top-line role that just doesn't really suit him. Through 15 games played, has 3 goals and 2 assists for only 5 points. So he's averaging he's averaging a point every 3 games. So that's not good enough. And I know that I think we all know that he can do more. We expect more from Sam Bennett, but I think he's going to have to wait until Tkachuk gets back to kind of maybe take some pressure off and alleviate some of that aspect of kind of he's got to do it all right now because the Panthers they're struggling a bit for sure, and Sam Bennett is kind of just is chief among them for players who are struggling. Moving on to Philadelphia Flyer forward, it's Owen Tippett. Through 15 games played, has 5 goals and only 1 assist, 6 points, about the same kind of points per game as Sam Bennett. I've heard even weird things like that he might be traded, that he doesn't fit well within Tocchet's system. Wouldn't be the first time that a player on a team that Rick Tocchet coaches ends up, if Tippett is to be traded, that a player playing for a team that Rick Tocchet coaches ends up being traded because he doesn't fit within his system, even though he was doing fine on the same team a year before. I'm of course referring to Andrei Kuzmenko of the Vancouver Canucks when Rick Tocchet was coach there. That was heartbreaking to see because I really like Kuzmenko. But I don't really understand the trading rumors. Yeah, he's off to a really cold start. Okay, that happens to players. I think that Rick Tocchet should be better at coaching and maybe coach him to kind of work within the system a little bit better. So I'm not here to blame Tippett completely. I think that they both player and coach should work a little bit better maybe, and maybe not overreact as well. So Flyers fans, if any of you are watching, please tell me in the comments below what's going on with that and the trade rumors. Are those completely false? Yeah, I'd love for you guys to help clear that up there. And the last player who I want to talk about who's pretty cold right now, it's Matt Coronato. Now, Matthew Coronato of the Calgary Flames, forward on the Calgary Flames. Last year he had 47 points in 77 games. That was kind of like the breakout year. That was like, okay, here it is. Maybe next year is like the true breakout year. So the Flames believed him, right? They signed him to a 7-year deal in the offseason. But through 15 games played, has only 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points. So it's pretty lackluster start. I do believe he'll eventually turn around. It's the Flames, right? The Calgary Flames are so starved for offense. They're the worst offensive team in the NHL. So it makes sense. I think they just got shut out back-to-back nights or back-to-back games. So yeah, just really rough stuff from Calgary and Coronato. Their young, very promising forward is also suffering because of it. Moving on, finally, to 4 fantasy players that I want to really highlight here. So, this portion of the fantasy player stock watch videos is meant to, if you need a player, if you're looking for a player on the waiver wire, free agency, whatever you call it, these are players that are largely unowned, but they're tearing it up. So I would see if they're still available. And the number one, I don't think he's still available. But he's only about 60% rostered still on fantasy leagues. So it's Spencer Knight. If you go check your waiver wire right now, and if Spencer Knight is still there, I implore you, please, to go pick him up immediately. I don't care if you don't believe in the Blackhawks. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Even if they lose, he ends up getting points. He ends up as a net positive because he faces so many shots, right? The Blackhawks are not the best defensive team as of right now. So he's saving he's facing a ton of shots, and he's saving almost all of them. He's one of the best goalies in the league. Through 11 games played, has a 2.33 goals against average, a 926 save percentage, and then is number 1 actually in the entire NHL in goals saved above expected. So that's just truly special stuff. So while you still can, if you still have the ability, he's on my fantasy team. So it's not like I'm giving you a bum deal here. Pick up Spencer Knight. 3 other players I wanted to highlight. One of them is Falk. Falk, the defenseman for the St. Louis Blues. Falk he's on a really nice heater right now, and honestly, I think he has staying power as well because of the peripherals. So through 16 games played, he has 3 goals and 5 assists. That's pretty good for a defenseman. Averaging 0.5 points per game. I did pick him up this week, and he helped me tremendously in winning my fantasy matchup this week. But yeah, so I think not only is he getting some goals here and there and some assists here and there, he's also, I think, a really good source of hits and blocks. So that kind of those banger stats that I'm a big fan of blocks personally. I like to pick up defensemen that can get lots of blocks in there. So Falk, even on nights where he's not producing goals and assists, he will get you those for sure. 2 other players, one of them is a goalie. It's Artur Shilovs of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's only 18.3% rostered right now. So that's very, very few fantasy managers have Shilovs rostered on their team. The Penguins are still a wagon. Until they fall off, I say invest in Shilovs. He's someone you can drop once the Penguins start falling off, if they do fall off. I'm not saying they will, but they weren't expected to have a lot of staying power. But through 9 games played, Shilovs has a 2.49 goals against average and a 916 save percentage. He is truly, I'd say, a top 10 goalie right now in the league in terms of how he's producing and playing so far in a month and a half into the NHL season. So great for Shilovs. I wish he was able to, as a semi-Canucks fan, it was kind of hard to see him go. But it's good to also see him have a lot of success and play in the NHL full-time on the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the last player I want to highlight here, it's another Chicago Blackhawk, but how can't I? It's Tyler Bertuzzi. Tyler Bertuzzi, through 14 games played, has 8 goals and 4 assists for 12 points through 14 games played. He's consistently in the top 6, and for a lot of this recently at least, he's been playing on Connor Bedard's line. How can you not have Tyler Bertuzzi on your team? I was not quick enough to get him, but still, he's genuinely one of the best hot players you can grab right now. Maybe once he tapers off, because he's a streaky player. He's not always that consistent. So once he cools off, you're okay to, you have my permission to drop him. But I do believe that Tyler Bertuzzi is a great play to get right now. He's only 26.2% rostered in fantasy leagues across the board. But that has been it. That is the third volume of the Fantasy Player Stock Watch series. I have so much fun making this series and uploading this series. I think is so much fun. I love playing fantasy, and I love giving fantasy advice. I think that I'm a decent fantasy player, and so for anyone with questions, I'm always happy to answer them. And it's been really fun. It's been a great start to the season. So yes, if you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comments. Again, any questions you may have. I just want to say, so cool to see these young guns and these young stars kind of become stars and become so elite right before our very own eyes. It feels like I'm truly watching the next golden era of the NHL and hockey itself. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would mean so much to me. And I will see you guys in the next video.